Episode 3. So we waited 8 years for this. And that's it. 8 years, a Night King. Um, that's all they've got. A little girl who was 5 feet tall, could jump like 100 meters in the air past White Walkers. She can jump past them. And apparently they don't even notice, but they can hear blood dripping. But the whites could hear that, but the White Walkers can't even hear a girl jumping from God knows where. It's just basically coming out of thin air and killing the Night King. So 8 years of building up to this, like the greatest threat of the whole series, and it's gone like that. It's gone so quickly, it's gone so easily. The Night King doesn't even fight Jon. Jon does nothing. Bran literally does nothing. He just sits in a wheelchair and plays Raven Simulator for a little bit. And that's pretty much it. What was the point in that entire episode? No one important really dies, and the people who do die, they die so pointlessly. There's no point in their deaths. It doesn't add to the story. It's not like, oh, well, they died such an honorable death. But it's like, they died like, Jorah and Theon died like literally 1 second before they killed the Night King. They could have just waited. They could have just waited like 1 minute and they would have been fine, you know? What were all the main characters doing? They were like completely useless in this entire episode. They're supposed to have all these powers, and there's all the prophecies, Ahor Ahai. What happened with that? So that's it. We've finished, and now it's just freaking let's fight for the Iron Throne. That's obviously more important because we want to see all the main characters together in King's Landing again or something. What's the point in that? The Night King was supposed to be the greatest threat. That was supposed to be the end of the world. More main characters should have died, but their plot armor was way too strong. The plot armor was much stronger than the Night King. Not as strong as Arya, though, the world's greatest warrior. Because when she was a little girl, she learned how to say no to the death of war. The death of war? The god of death. Not today. Yeah, that's all it took. Not today. Melisandre, she has all these powers and everything, but she didn't need to use them other than light some swords and remind Arya of some vague reference from last season about blue eyes and shutting blue eyes or green eyes and brown eyes. It literally doesn't matter or make any sense. It's like become not even Game of Thrones. It's like Game of Strong Women, you know, all the strong characters in general. Like it doesn't matter if you're a 5 foot tall girl. You're actually the greatest character ever. You can destroy the Night King. You can destroy absolutely everyone. Why doesn't she just go? They don't need to send the whole army down to King's Landing to kill Cersei. They should just send Arya because she can just do everything. Apparently, she just gets to kill everyone. The Night King, completely useless. The whole build-up they've been doing for 8 years about the White Walkers have been marching, they've been slowly walking, and that's all they're gonna do. That's all they ever did. They walked up to Bran, they didn't kill anyone, they killed Theon, but it was so pointless. They could have at least killed some other main character, some other mainish character. They could have killed Brienne or someone, or he didn't even have a sword fight with Jon or anything. That would have at least made it more suspenseful, and then you could have had someone come up and sneak behind him and kill him or whatever. It would have been slightly better than the absolute abomination what we got. Apparently, this impossible character doesn't say anything. He doesn't have any important story according to the show. He doesn't have any importance. Basically, he's just some ice bad guy who you can just stab under a weir tree with a knife. Wow, isn't that great? I'm so glad they did that. It really made watching this worthwhile. It made watching it for all these years such a worthwhile experience. This was the big fight. They've got nothing left now. They've got 3 more episodes, and it's like, what's the point in watching it? What are they gonna do now? This was supposed to be the most exciting thing. They could have even kept the Night King alive for a couple more episodes, 1 or 2 more episodes, and had him, the people, the Lannisters or whatever, Cersei and stuff, come help them to kill him or something. There should have been more. And the whole episode was so dark. What was the point in that? You couldn't see anything. And it's like, oh, but it was the confusion of the battle, and it was so great, and this and that. It's like, oh, I felt like I was there. No, I felt like I was in the dark. I just felt like I was in the dark. There was no point in this. You couldn't see any. It's because they wanted to save the budget, because you had 3 dragons. 3 dragons? Yeah, 3 dragons going around. And it's a good way to save money, because in the low light or whatever. And you had Ghost, the direwolf that was there, which literally added nothing. The whole episode was completely pointless. There was no point in anything. The Dothraki just charge into the dark for no reason, and then they just all die, pretty much. That was really good. What was the point in that? Absolutely nothing. What's the point in charging into the dark? You don't even know what's there. You know, the whole episode was just completely lacking meaning. This was the big battle, and they've screwed it up. So they've screwed the whole end of Game of Thrones pretty much. Yeah, so 8 years of build up for that payoff. That was it. That's the best they could muster. It's like they just turned up to the set one day. It's like they turned up to the set one day and they were like, right, well, instead of having an important Arya's an important character, but how believable is it that she would kill the Night King just because she was a faceless man? She did all these different things when she went on her little travels around Bravos and all these places, whatever. She learned all these things from Syrio Tyrell and all this stuff, so that somehow that makes us so special and everything. It's just stupid. They might as well have had freaking Varys kill him or something. But you had no payoffs for all the time they've spent building up all these storylines. You didn't even get any good reveal about the White Walkers, like why are they there, what do they want? They don't want any. Apparently they don't speak, they don't have anything. You could have even at least had Bran say, oh, the White Walkers were Targaryen, or the White Walker was a Stark, and they made a pact with the First Men and all this, and a big pact between the First Men and the Children of the Forest with the White Walkers to keep them away and all this and that. But literally that was it. They didn't do anything. The whole thing was pointless. Bran was pointless. What's he gonna do now? What's he got important to do? What's a lot of the characters got left to do now, other than, ooh, we're gonna take the Iron Throne? It's like the Iron Throne wasn't important in this moment. It's just now it's just gonna be little intersquabbling between the different houses, and it's like that. The whole point of this was that the destiny and everything was more important than just the Iron Throne. The Iron Throne is like an afterthought. It was like, we'll fight the army of the dead, and then if any of us survive, then we can worry about what happens after that. Now it's just going to be these petty squabbles, and it's like, no, because that was the end of the world. It should have just all ended there, pretty much. And you should have like a few survivors. But now it's like there's loads of survivors. They should technically not have very much of it. They should have a really decimated army now. But it's like, the whole fight was way too easy. There was no point in it. Really disappointing. You know, you're emotionally invested into this thing for years and years and years. And obviously the books are going to be different. Obviously they wouldn't just make Arya, but there's been nothing to suggest. And I know they're trying to be like, oh, but no one thought Arya would be the one to kill him. Yeah, because she shouldn't. It doesn't make any sense. They didn't make anything special about the story to mean that she kills them, or even another important character who is prophesied, like Jon, to kill the White Walker. He's supposed to, you know. So they really basically ruined the whole series, and they've done that ever since they ran out of material from the books. They've just been literally... There's a reason they didn't write this series, because the producers and the writers have no good ideas, basically. They have the worst ideas possible. It's like a 10-year-old kid could come up with better ideas for what to do with the series. Or literally anyone could think of better things to do with these characters and with the plot. But they just seem to want to ruin the whole thing. And that's what they're doing. And there's only 3 episodes left. And then there's going to be prequel series. Well, what's the point? Like, this was it. They had one chance to do this. And then now there's no more. We'll just have to wait for the books to come out. But then honestly, who knows when we're ever going to see them either. So... maybe like the way they killed Melisandre in the end, she just walks out in the snow and dies. That's how it's this series. That's like the series. The series basically just committed suicide with this episode, and it already did a lot of that. But the first 2 episodes were fine. They were good. They were just setting up supposedly to be for one really good important episode, but it ended up just being a stupid waste of time episode. They might as well have not even fought the Night King. They might as well have just shook his hand and then he sneezed on him and he dies. That would have been literally better. And then the rest of the episode, they could have all just been having an orgy or something, or I don't know, they could have literally done anything. Then it would have been more interesting in this episode, you know? Honestly, terrible. And there's no real way they can save it. Like, what's there left? The only thing left is to take the Iron Throne. And it's like, ooh, who's gonna... Oh yeah, why don't you make frickin'... I don't know who. Oh yeah, they might as well make her, because she's obviously the most special character. Yeah, she's still an important... I'm not saying she's not an important character at all, but there's no way she's the most important character, which they're trying to do now. And the way they made the main characters completely useless in this episode is ridiculous. Jon was literally just stumbling around by himself, doing literally nothing. They didn't use the dragons well in any way. The dragons just disappear because they ran out of money. They ran out of... The CGI budget had been cut. That's why it had to be so dark. The fact they didn't do anything with the White Walkers and the Night King is such an insult. Why did they even have them in the story then? They might as well have just had a storm that killed a load of people because they got the flu or something. It would have been about as useful as the way they've done the story with the White Walkers. The White Walkers literally killed like no one. You know, Walder Frey killed more important characters. Yeah, with the Red Wedding, you know? Literally anyone. Arya's killed more important characters than the Night King. They might as well call it Game of Little Girls, you know? Oh, and they made the Lyanna moment. She's so brave. And why was she there? She's like a 10-year-old girl fighting a giant. It's like, it doesn't make sense. They're trying to be like, oh, it's kind of funny because it's like a small girl. I don't understand this narrative they're making with. It seems to be, I think, yeah, they're trying to be Me Too. They're trying to be this and that. None of the black characters. Not that matters, but it's like, they could have killed Grey Worm or something. And it literally wouldn't have mattered because no one cares. Who cares about Grey Worm? Nobody. I don't care about any of the characters that much anymore, other than like Jon. And why did they make Jon so useless in this episode? He could have literally just done anything. He could have just had a sword fight with another White Walker, not even the Night King. But literally, they were all just scattered around, fighting these weird little zombie things, which I guess were whites, but it doesn't even matter. Like, the White Walkers, all they did was walk up, kill Theon. He was pretty much redundant at this point. His story had ended. I wish they'd kill the more important character because it would have been better. The fact that all the main characters have survived this far, what's the point? The series is going to be over in 3 episodes. You might as well kill more people. You don't need them all for the final battle, do you? You need some of them, of course. If you killed them all, that would be kind of epic. You just have like, I don't know, Sam or someone still alive. Sam, or obviously Jon Snow. He still has to do something. He should be the most important character. And yeah, or Daenerys, but Daenerys is, I guess there's still things they can do. Obviously they're not going to kill either of them, but honestly, a disappointment. We'll see if they can even muster anything remotely interesting. They can polish the turd that is left of the series in the last 3 hours. There should be more than 3 hours. I think it's like 1 hour 30, 1 hour 20. Some of the final episodes, so it should be about 4 hours, more than 4 hours or something. But anyway, really bad. The series had been on a decline before this, but now it's certain, and now it's gonna end. So, but the fact that they ruined the ending so badly is an insult, basically, to everyone who's watched it. To have such stupid plot lines, such bad tactics, such a stupid, pointless deaths, a stupid way of killing what should be the main bad guy that they just completely ruin and make him completely useless. That you can just kill him that easy, and they kill him in such a stupid way. It's unforgivable. It's unforgivable, honestly. Yeah, so that's it. Disappointing.